You know who is definitely going to be doing something for sure is Henry Cavill is confirmed to be returning as Superman. Which, again, we did just mention that earlier in the episode, but this is one of our topics of the day, you guys. So we got to get more into it, more into the nitty-gritty, you know? So The Hollywood Reporter tells us here, the actor Henry Cavill returned to the big screen as Superman for the first time in 5 years in Black Adam. And on Monday, he confirmed that he will be indeed playing Superman in future DC installments, saying in a video posted to social media for what audiences saw in Black Adam was just a taste of things to come. Cavill goes on to say in multiple interviews, there's such a bright future ahead for the character, and I'm so excited to tell a story with an enormously joyful Superman. So I think what this tells me is, obviously DC needs to change up Superman's, persona when compared to the original Man of Steel movies. They're so much darker, and clearly that's what most of the fans were complaining about. I'm one of those guys who adored Man of Steel. I
actually did too. I really liked Man of Steel too. Yeah.
I'm glad you agree, because now you'll hate me. I didn't like the original Superman.
I know you didn't. You've told me multiple times about.
And for all you listeners
I love that original crazy. Superman.
It's okay. This is the thing about the original Superman to me is that my complaint has been I'm so spoiled by what we were given nowadays that when I look at these movies from back in the 80s or 70s, I'm like, ooh, oh God, that doesn't hold up. And most people tell me, oh, well, you have to just set your mind in there. You gotta, imagine that you were there and you saw
That's
a
what
man
I tell
fly.
you. You gotta put yourself in the shoes of an audience member back in 1978.
And that's okay. But when we see movies nowadays where you see Man of Steel with Henry Cavill flying, it makes the original movie look like poop, So it's
all right. You watch your mouth there.
As much as I appreciate it, for what it is, I still can acknowledge that the movie, it doesn't hold up anymore. The pacing is really slow. The villains, Lex Luthor is the Joker. He's not Lex Luthor. I'm like, who is this caricature of a character here? This is crazy.
Gene Hackman, he did great as Lex Luthor. I loved Gene Hackman.
He did great for his time.
Christopher Reeve, I mean, come on.
But now, in this day and age, that's not the Superman and Lex Luthor I want to see. And it's interesting to me that they're bringing us this version of Superman now, and they're saying he's enormously joyful. Can we have an enormously joyful Superman that can still be grounded with, our reality of 2022, 4, 3, 4, 5? The next couple of years, we're going to get this type of Superman. Can he fit in our universe, in how we see movies nowadays?
Oh, sure. I think so. I mean, look, it all depends on how the project is written. Is the movie good? And if the movie's good, if it's written really well, and everybody, if the movie's good, then it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what kind of Superman we get. I'm excited about this. I think this is great. I think as much as I like Man of Steel, didn't love Batman v Superman very much, and of course didn't really love the original Justice League. I love Zack Snyder's Justice League much better. But
Agreed.
But I'm totally ready for a brighter Superman, and I think Henry Cavill can do it. We have yet to see him really dig his teeth into Superman. And of course, the brighter Superman is the one we all kind of know and love, and this is I know a lot of people want to see this, and I'm excited to see what Henry Cavill brings to this going forward. And so this is it is exciting news. Of course, you guys, hopefully you've heard our Black Adam review episode. If not, you can totally check it out on our podcast feed.
Yes.
But we definitely talk about, spoilers for Black Adam. Superman shows up at the end in the end credits, and he has a little exchange with Black Adam. And to
be fair, who doesn't know that Superman's in the end credits at this point?
It was Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson was going around basically telling everybody,
Everybody knew.
Superman is in this movie. Everywhere before this movie came out, he was just He had loose lips there, that's for sure.
Now, Raul, let
yeah.
me throw a shoe in the middle of this for a second. A little
Throw a shoe.
I'm
Throw your
gonna
shoes.
throw my shoe in there.
Your chancleta.
So, uy, no, por favor. When I think of Henry Cavill's Superman, you know what? Let me back up. When I think of Henry Cavill as an actor, most of the roles that he books tend to be characters that have more of a glass half empty kind of personality. If you look at Geralt from Rivia from Witcher, you look at the villain that he plays in Mission Impossible, you look at the current type of Man of Steel Superman that he plays is a very more negative kind of character. You look at Enola Holmes with Millie Bobby Brown when he's Sherlock Holmes. He's always had like characters that have like very pessimistic points of view in a way. You know, maybe his Superman at the moment has been the most positive out of those pessimistic characters, but like there's always like this sense of like negative energy in him when he performs, and that's like just part of his acting chops. Like he brings that to the table. So to me, like I wonder how difficult of a task it's going to be for him to try to release that from himself to become the golden Superman that we want him to be. What do you think, Raul?
I don't think so. I think it's, he's Henry Cavill, if you see the guy in interviews and stuff like that, he's a very lighthearted guy. He's totally down to have fun and all that stuff. And I haven't seen The Man from U.N.C.L.E., but I have heard he's actually got a nice lighthearted charm in that movie. And I've heard he's really good, and that's like a slightly different. That's a little more positive. He's kind of funny and's got that kind of almost James Bond kind of wink in his eye.
I was just about to say that's kind of his charm for sure. Whenever you see Henry Cavill talking in interviews, he has a very like sarcastic kind of comedy to him that makes him so charming. And so I'm wondering, do you think maybe he'll apply more of his sarcasm into Superman?
Of course. And even as Superman in Man of Steel, and especially later on in Justice League, he does have lighthearted moments, especially in Justice League when he's kind of getting closer to the Superman that we all know and love. As much as whatever your thoughts are on that original Justice League, he definitely has some quips and things like that. He does have his lighthearted moments. So I think he can just dial into that a little bit more. I have no doubt that he can definitely bring that to Superman going forward. He wants to bring that to Superman. He wants this lighthearted, more joyful Superman. He's been saying it for a while that he would love to show that side of him because he didn't really get to show that side of him very much before.
I remember the Snyder fans were so mad about his Superman in the Joss Whedon version of Justice League because they were like, no, he's supposed to be mad and brooding about everything. He's hopeful, but he's got to have a lot of pessimism to him. You can't do this to us, man. Because you're right, he had the golden Superman charm in Justice League, but it almost felt like it was the wrong time to give him that vibe because most of this time that we've seen him in all these movies, he does have this glass half empty kind of vibe for Superman. He's hopeful, but he's also just like contemplating everything about who he is as a person. Sure. Is he a human or is he a man? Is he an alien? Where does he belong?
I'm sorry, Kevin.
No, go ahead.
I think the next time we see Superman, he's in a better place. I think he's come to terms with who he is and it kind of accepted who he is and his role in the world. And I think he will be someone who's more at peace with things and allowing, the lightheartedness to come in and allowing that lightness to come in. So I think we might see a very different Superman because he's had a lot of time to kind of think through things and kind of come to terms with, a lot of soul searching. So I do think we'll see a Superman in a better place than he was before.
You know what? The more and more I hear you say that, the more I think of James Gunn being a really good fit for him. Just because I think of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and if you watch the characters in that movie interact with each other, like they have so much warmth to them, and I think that if James Gunn can apply that kind of same energy between Superman and the other characters in the movie, I think that could work out. I think that's a pretty good thing. And you're right. It'll definitely bring a new vibe to Henry Cavill's approach to the character, which again, if he's very excited to do it, then I'm all for it.
Yeah.
I will never say that I don't want something from Henry Cavill. That man can do whatever the heck he wants, and he's going to be golden and beautiful about it. So I am hopeful. I am very hopeful that an enormously joyful Superman sounds like a fun time, and it sounds like James Gunn knows what he's doing with how he wants to talk to the people. He knows who he's talking to. He knows his fans.
And then, of course, we will get, looks like they are teeing up for a Black Adam versus Superman battle at some point, so that'll be interesting to see where that takes them.
Yeah, and also, I guess, I know we'll talk about this another time, but I wonder how the relationship between Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson and James Gunn is, because that's interesting that Dwayne kind of seemed like he was about to take over the DCEU at this point, and suddenly James Gunn kind of swoops in out of nowhere and is
I don't
like,
think that was
nope.
I don't think that was ever really going to happen. I think
felt like it, though, for a long while.
Well, yeah, because Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is a very good hype man, and he cares about you can tell he cares about the DCEU very much, and he really wants DC to be in a good place and be very successful. So in that way, he's been, a really big hype man, but he's been like, for a while, he's been like the main voice behind everything going on with DC right now, just going out there. He's a good promoter.
I think he's setting the DCEU in a good direction, and I think if it wasn't for Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, I don't think I'd be as hyped as I could be about the DCEU, which is now the DCU. So it's like I just have more reasons now to have hope and have that S on my chest.
Right.
But
I don't ever I never thought that he was actually going to be put in a producer, executive position. I mean,
he is a producer though.
Not a producer, but in
I was
as
like
high a position as James Gunn and Peter Safran.
He wouldn't be Kevin Feige whatsoever.
Right. I never thought that was going to happen.
That's true, but he'll definitely produce his own movies, I'm sure, in the future for the DCU. But I think at the end of the day, James Gunn's going to be on top, going, okay, that's good.